Why don't you go light that campfire?
Okay, sweets.
We were born for greater things. We were born to chase your dreams. Come, my Lord, awaken holy fire. We are turning from our sin. We are praying once again.
Hey guys, let's sing a campfire song.
Oh, hey, how about this one? Yo, this is a story all about how my life got turned upside down. And I'd like to take a second.
No! We want a campfire story!
All right, that's fine.
Burn like a star, light a fire in our hearts.
I'm sorry, honey. Mommy has a little problem with the car. Looks like we'll be a little late getting to Grandma's. I know you have a country to serve, but I sure could use your help right about now.
This would be a lot easier if you weren't in the van.
me introduce myself. I'm Ty.
Thank you.
Well, that'll do it. No thanks. I just wanted to help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Morning, everybody. My name is Mike Stone. I'm one of the pastors here at Area 316. All right. Hi, how you doing? Just keep that message in mind. It's a pretty powerful video that we just saw. Keep it in mind. Talking about campfire stories. Campfire stories. Campfires are really nice, especially on a cool fall evening. You're out there with your family. When I was a kid, go with my father, my cousins, my uncles. You sit around the campfire. It's nice and warm around the campfire, and it's bright. Gives off a glow. You stay in warm. It's like, but beyond the campfire, it's pitch black. Beyond that light and the glow of that fire, it's black, dark, scary, cold. So when it's time to get up, to either go to your tent, or go to the restroom, man, you go to get up and you're looking back like, is anybody coming with me? I'm by myself. You know, and I'd be like this, trying to go to the restroom. And my dad would stand up, grab me by the hand. Man, I felt like the whole world, because someone was alongside me. I could have fought a grizzly bear because my dad was there, and someone was with me on the way. And that was good to have someone come along. Today's Bible story is in Luke 10:25 through 37, the parable of the Good Samaritan. If you don't have your Bible with you, that's okay. We're going to put the scriptures up on the screen. And if you don't have one, see one of us before you leave, and we're glad to give you one. Okay. On occasion, an expert in law stood up to test Jesus. Teacher, he asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And what is written in the law, he replied, how do you read it? He answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul, and all of your strength with all of your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. You had answered correctly, Jesus replied. Do this and you will live. Okay. But he just wanted to justify himself. To ask Jesus, who is my neighbor? Okay. And Jesus replied, he said, a man was going down to Jerusalem, to Jericho. He was attacked by robbers, stripped him of all his clothes and beat him, and away they went, leaving him half dead. A priest happened to be going down the same road, and when he saw the man, he passed by on the other side. Imagine that. You've already been beaten. All your clothes are taken away. You lay there on the road, no clothes, defenseless, bleeding and hurting. And you look up and you see a priest walking down the road. And you say to yourself, oh, man, I'm okay now. It's going to be all right. This priest is going to help me. And then the priest walks right by you. It's like, whoa, man, dude, where you going? You know, I thought he's a priest. He's going to help me. So, too, a Levite who came from the city, placed and saw him, and passed him on the other side. Imagine that feeling, this poor dude, he's laying there. He's already got slapped around and beat up, his money taken away, his clothes taken away, his dignity taken away. And first he relied on a priest, and the priest just walked by him. And then someone from the city that lived in the town just walked by him like he didn't even exist. He's like, man, what am I going to do? But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came where the man was. And when he saw him, he took pity upon him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds. and pouring oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, so he's going to walk himself, brought him into the inn and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said. When I return, I'll reimburse you for any expense you may have. Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor? The man fell into the hand of the robbers? The expert in law replied, the one who had mercy on him. Jesus told him, go and do likewise. We see people every day on the street that are hurting. Looks like they've been up for days. Looks like they're the walking dead. And you look at them, you say, oh man, look at that junkie. You loser. Go get a job. They've been up doing who knows what. But what they didn't see, they did not see the road that that person has been on. Not see it at all. They were just looking at what that individual looked like. What if they had a mental illness? What if they had a mental illness? And society has turned them away because they don't have any insurance. They have no insurance, they have no income. Nobody wants to take the time to listen or help them deal with it. No one. And you just keep judging them for it. What if it's a combat veteran who's asked to fill out all these red tapes and government bureaucracy and has to listen to all the instructions to fill out those forms? And they can't hear those instructions because the cries of their brothers and sisters that they lost during battle echo in their head, and they get cast aside by the world, who judge them by the way that they look. And it's hard. They can't even concentrate on it because of that. So behind every hurting person, there's a story. You know, that you don't see. You don't know the road that they've been traveling on. You always look, you see at first glance. And that's pretty sad, ain't it? And I've been guilty of that too at times. I have been. I'm not perfect. Not perfect at all. Behind every hurting person, there's a story that they didn't see. It says in Romans 21:3, you, therefore, have no excuse, you who pass judgment on someone else. For whatever you point judgment, you judge another, and you are condemning yourself, because you who pass judgment on the same things. Bam. It isn't nothing better than that said, okay? Ouch. Like the man on the road to Jericho. You never know someone else's story unless you stepped out of your comfort zone. You know, maybe those people, who knows, just need a kind word or helping hand. Has anybody here ever needed a kind word from somebody? You know, you're hurting, had a bad day. I know I have. You're sitting down, no matter, life has beat you down. You feel like one of those whack-a-moles. You know, they keep popping up. And you feel you're going nowhere and nowhere because nobody else is reaching a hand out to you, you know? Nobody's reaching their hand out to help you. But if someone comes to you and puts their arm, holds you by the hand, and say, listen, it's all right, man. It's okay. It's okay. You're not alone. You got some help. The other night, I Celebrate Recovery. A lady came in, and she said that every place that she's been to has asked her to leave because of her appearance. Man, I couldn't believe the people in our group had her put a plate together and sat her down at the table to eat with us. You know, she was here earlier, so I want to put. She comes to church today, but she asked to leave every place she went to because of her appearance. Who are you dealing with? Who do you know that could be Jesus himself. You never know someone's hurt until you take the time to ask. You know, and we listened to her story. It's pretty sad, you know. She has medical issues. But first glance, you looked at her, you said, whoa, I don't want anything to do with that. In 1987, an 18-month-old child fell into a well in Midland, Texas. Her name was Jessica McClure. She was there for 58 hours, alone, cold, crying, scared, by herself. They couldn't get to her right away because they couldn't dig. It would have collapsed in on her. So they dug a well beside her. And they lowered someone down, and they had a small little tunnel to go through. And they told her it would be okay, and she stopped crying. And they reached like a little blanket through, and she stopped crying because someone came alongside of her and told her it's going to be okay. We all, Pastor once talked about here, people who have Christ followers and had the stickers on their cars. There's a huge difference between a follower and a fan. A follower, a fan, is someone that comes to church every Sunday, and that's awesome. You make sure I give my tithing. You know, I praise Jesus, I thank him. I do what I can, and then go home. Ask him tomorrow what the message was, and he's going to tell you. A follower is someone who drives down that road on a motorcycle and sees a lady in distress. Her husband's over there, maybe giving his ultimate sacrifice for his country, defending us. You don't know whose life it is. And he stops to help that lady. That's a follower. A follower is someone, well, a brother or sister is sick or injured or hurt and goes to the house and brings them chicken soup and sits down with them and tells them, it's going to be okay, man. It's going to be okay. And that love, you can't buy that love. You can't buy it at all. You can't. Everybody hurts. Everybody hurts. And it's not okay to be alone. It's not okay to be alone. Sometimes when you're hurting, it's what God asks us to do, to love one another, you know? And it comes in many shapes and forms. Like the man that rode the Jericho, he saw a priest. You know, you're sitting there, you've been beat up and everything, naked, on the road. And the priest walks by you. In your mind, it's a man of God, right? And he judged you because you was all dirty, but he didn't know what happened to you. He think you was just some vagrant. You know, and then a Good Samaritan come. You never, ever, ever know who you're dealing with. So if you see someone that needs a helping hand, they need a helping hand. They don't need your judgment. We have a God for that. We have a God to judge people. We don't judge anybody. Here at our church, models, there's no perfect people. People that come in here, we don't care what you look like, where you've been, what you've done in your life. Can you join our church? We don't want you, because once you came through the door, you're a family. We don't have there's no sign-up list here. You don't have to do any calisthenics to belong to the church. You're a family. We're our family. Man, love is a big word. Love is a huge word. But you got to reach out to people that are hurting. Kindness, a kind word goes a long way. And I'm sure there's people here that have been hurting. If you see someone without a smile, give them yours, is what my mother used to say. Amen. And I didn't make my mother smile very often, not when she was coming into the police station at 3 o'clock in the morning. And that's how I was brought up, not to judge one another. Am I perfect? I'm far from perfect. It's an honor and a blessing for me to be here in front of you to give this message today. I'm totally honored to do that. It's amazing. You know, you never know what kind of wound you can heal by a smile and a caring glance, you know? Be a friend to the friendless. Be a friend to the friendless. Don't tell me or tell anybody that you're a Christ follower and you just walked by some poor guy that needed a meal. you know, or just a talk. Just say, hey, how you doing today? If they send you away, they sent you away, but you reached your hand out. It goes a long way. I know it has for me. It goes a long way. There's some people at this church when I first came around here that reached their hand out to me that I thought was like, wow, why are you reaching your hand out to me? But it's because of love and kindness. Get out of your comfort zone. Praise team can come up here now. It's a step out of your comfort zone. Jesus stepped out of his comfort zone. He stepped out of the temple. So like my mother said, if you see someone without a smile, give them yours. Go over to put your arm around them. Invite them to church. Right? Invite them to church. We have donuts. That's why we try to hug everybody. I know I do. Most everybody in the church. Hug someone come in on Sunday because you never know what their week has been like. Never. Never. Because that one hug on a Sunday morning could turn your whole day around. The whole day around. And bottom line. Bottom line. Love one another. Don't judge one another. Man, it's incredible. And please pray with me.